Who do clients hire? We've heard this before. They hire those that they know, that they like, and that they trust. Nothing new. Why don't they know you? Well, as it turns out, there's 1.3 million lawyers in America. Could you expect them to know you? I mean, that's one for every 250 people, man, woman, and child. Why wouldn't they like you? That's odd, right? Why would they not like you? Beats me. And do they trust you? The Ivy League people at Princeton, when they looked at what do people think of lawyers and other professions, they ranked lawyers very close to prostitutes in terms of trust, but CEOs not that much higher, okay? They don't trust us the way they trust nurses and doctors and teachers. So what do? How do you get them to know you, to like you, and then to trust you when this is what you're up against? Like somebody else might have done something out there and put out some sort of advertising that just tarnishes just the profession altogether, and you've got to overcome that. And the solution, well, is to differentiate. You want to separate yourself from all the lawyers that the public doesn't trust and that the public doesn't like. Now, you're thinking, man, with 1.3 million lawyers, how can I possibly separate myself? I mean, when you look at it, if you're a contingency fee-based firm, it's free to work with you. I mean, when you look at supply and demand, if anyone can work with anybody, and technically it's free, well, they've got a lot of options. So imagine competing in a space where it's free, like your product could be free to them. It's like almost like the bottled water space. Can you imagine launching a bottled water and trying to compete when you can get it from the tap? I mean, and there's also a lot of water brands. So imagine that you had to compete in this space. How would you do it? Now, most water companies, they talk about purity, they talk about nature, they talk about the taste of the water. And then about 4 years ago, comes along a brand called Liquid Death. Their goal is to make drinking water cool again and to murder your thirst. And what they noticed at Liquid Death is that most rock bands and music artists and so on, they were sponsored by energy drink companies. But the actual bands themselves, they didn't want to drink energy drinks on stage, so what they would do is they'd pour out the energy drink and pour water in. But this thing looks like an energy drink. And then they launched some interesting campaigns, one of which is Death to Plastic. In another campaign, they ran an ad with a bunch of kids enjoying heavy metal music and drinking their water. They offended as many people as they pleased. In 4 years since the inception of Liquid Death, they've now gained a $700 million valuation, on pace for $1 billion, in the water space. So you've got to focus and niche and differentiate and stand out, because if you can stand out in water, I promise you can stand out in the law space.